Pala sa PUP ng Thursday?
Opo, sir.
Opo, sir.
Yes. Tinanong ko na si Sir Hero sa Academic Affairs kung pwede ako magpa-quiz. Waiting daw eh. Waiting daw ng memo from campus director. So, hindi pa niya ako masagot kahapon. Tanong ko ulit bukas, Wednesday. Pero in the meantime, ganun yung plan natin ha. I-klase natin tong conceptual framework. And then by Thursday, quiz kayo ng chapters 1 and 2. Okay. Meron ako SA. So siya yung magpo-proctor sa inyo, no? Doon ba sa ano nyo, sa schedule nyo, meron na bang assigned classroom para sa atin?
Meron naman po, sir.
Okay. Yes. So meron na tayong room, ano? Kita na lang. Doon na lang tayo mag-quiz if allowed sa Thursday. Okay. Where's my screen? Okay. So, yan class, no? I have also sent you the homework, no, for this chapter. And I just checked it earlier. Isa pa lang yung nag-submit. And then I remember, wala pa nga pala akong senate na deadline. Okay, so since Thursday yung quiz natin for this chapter, so I will be giving you a deadline siguro until tomorrow. Okay?
Okay po, sir. Noted.
Sige. And then, matatagalan pa ata yung LMS ng PUP. Siguro gawa na ako ng temporary Google Classroom natin. Gamitin ko tong premium account ko para at least meron tayong monitoring. And then we can also have a platform na kapag meron akong mga simpleng questions about the topic, pwede natin doon pag-usapan. Sige class, let's discuss na. No? Again, just like the last time, no, I am asking for the full participation and cooperation of everyone. It would be boring, no, kung ako lang magsasalita dito, kaya pagtulungan natin tong libro at saka itong PowerPoint. Himayin natin yung ating topic na Conceptual Framework for Financial Reporting. Okay, so let's discuss na. Again, the topic title is Conceptual Framework for Financial Reporting, and it has the following learning objectives. First is to state the purpose, status, and scope of the conceptual framework, state the objective of financial reporting, identify the primary users of financial statements, explain briefly the qualitative characteristics of useful information and how they are applied in financial reporting. Fifth, define the elements of financial statements and state their recognition criteria and their recognition. And then lastly, state the measurement basis used in financial reporting. So based on the learning objective class, yung iba dito, halos most of the topics to be discussed here are you're familiar na kayo. Okay, so discuss natin. Ayan, so what is the purpose of the conceptual framework? But before we discuss the purpose, let's ganun din pala. Okay. So yun na rin yung same slide dito sa libro So as stated dito sa slide natin, itong conceptual framework, it prescribes the concepts for general purpose financial reporting. So ano ba yung purpose na? So basically, mayroon siyang tatlong purpose dito, which initially, puro siya mag-assist. I-assist ang IASB, ang preparers ng accounting policies, and even the users, the parties who are using the standard. So, yun siya. Okay? Pero, isa sa mga confusion siguro is, di ba, or common question, ano ba yung conceptual framework? Yun na rin ba yung accounting standards, no? So, yan. So, dapat is maging malinaw sa atin yun na yung conceptual framework, this is a different entity. Not necessarily entity class na ano na merong opisina or what or merong ano. Kumbaga, this is another set of group or another, let's say, hindi mo siya pwedeng tawaging standards kasi we already have that name for PFRS and PAS, no? Pero yun, so we call it conceptual framework. Ano? So linawin lang natin, iba pa yung conceptual framework sa accounting standards. When we say accounting standards, we refer to them as the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards at saka yung Philippine Accounting. Pero yung conceptual framework, iba pa siya. Okay? So, pero in terms of ano naman, content, parang ganun din. Parang ganun din. Pero we have to emphasize na magkaiba sila. Okay? I have sent you naman the link. So you can read that for further distinction between the two. Pero let's stick to this book, no? Ito lang i-discuss natin. Ibigay ko na lang sa inyo yung article. Okay? Alright. Again, ang una sa mga purpose ni conceptual framework is to assist the International Accounting Standards Board in what? In developing standards. So, ayun. So, sila yung itong conceptual framework, they could be the one who create the standards, no? Who develop the standards, or let's say, revise the standards para mas maging useful, or let's say, yun yung response dun sa demand of time. Okay? After assisting the IASB, yan, i-assist din yung preparers, yung nagpe-prepare ng mga accounting policies. And then lastly, the users or the parties who needs to understand and interpret these standards. Okay? Okay, the next slide is about the status of the conceptual framework. Pero dito sa book natin, may kunti lang din-discuss, no, about the conceptual framework which provides the foundation for the development of the standards. So ano lang naman to? It promotes transparency, accountability, and efficiency in general. So let's proceed to the status of the conceptual framework. Ayan, unang-unang binanggit. The conceptual framework is not a PFRS. It's not also PAS. They are different. And then, when there is a conflict between the conceptual framework and the PFRS, or let's say GAAP, no, the PFRS will prevail. Right? And then, in the absence of a standard, so itong standard na sinasabi dito, ito yung ito yung GAAP, ito yung PFRS, ito yung PAS. So, in the absence of standard, management shall consider the conceptual framework or just simply framework, no, in making its judgment in developing and applying accounting policy that results in useful information. Yeah. So, class, so far, may question ba? Clear naman ba yung discussion natin?
Clear po.
Okay. Thank you. Ayan, dun sa book natin, class, makikita nyo dito yung yung hierarchy of the reporting standards, which dinidiscuss din naman dito sa previous slide natin, no? Ayan, so tingnan natin yung difference. So I want you to remember this, itong hierarchy of reporting standards, no? So ibig sabihin, ito yung order na dapat na sinusunod. Kumbaga, kapag present yung una, siya yung masusunod. If wala siya, ano yung kasunod niya? And everything follows. Ganun yung hierarchy of reporting standards. Okay, so una, of course, no, whenever we treat transactions related to accounting, we should always refer to PFRS or dun sa GAAP. If walang applicable PFRS, ay ang sabi dito, no, it's going to be management judgment. Pero it doesn't simply mean that way. Ibig sabihin, ang ibig sabihin ng judgment is ano ba yung dapat mong sundin kung walang PFRS. As mentioned dito, if wala yung specific standards that apply to the transactions, hanap ka ng other PFRS na madi-discuss itong hinahanapan natin ng ng guide. Kung wala pa rin tayong makita, tsaka tayo titingin sa conceptual framework. Okay, so that's the first judgment, And then final, yung pangalawa, kung wala pa rin conceptual framework, we look for pronouncements issued by other standard setting bodies. And if wala pa rin, other accounting literature and industry practices. Ayun. So please take note na lang class, this is for theoretical, ito yung we are trying to discuss here the theories, yung ideal na practice or ideal na observation of the of which reporting standards should be implemented. So ganun yung sequence niya. PFRS, conceptual framework, kung wala pa rin, yung mga other reports na from other from other standard setting body. Okay? Yan. So itong mga to, puro ganito lang siya, pero lumalabas to sa board exam plus. Kaya you should not take this for granted. Yung mga gantong simpleng discussion na magaan lang naman siya basahin, na parang pwede mo na nga siyang i-disregard. Pero lumalabas yan. Okay. So we go now to the scope of the conceptual framework. Ayan. So ito class, yung mga to further distinguish conceptual framework with accounting standards, ito class yung laman. Ito yung scope of the conceptual framework. Kumbaga, ito yung kanyang table of contents. Ito yung mga contents niya na dinidiscuss dito sa conceptual framework. Okay? So, ang sabi dito, conceptual framework is concerned with general purpose financial reporting. It involves the preparation of general purpose FS. And then, the conceptual framework provides the concepts regarding the following. Ayan. So, no more no less ito guys ha. So, there will be 8 na topics dito sa scope of the conceptual framework, and they are ordered as follows. Una, the objective of the financial reporting, qualitative characteristics of useful financial information, FS and the reporting entity, elements of financial statements, recognition and the recognition, measurement, presentation and disclosure, at saka concepts of capital and capital maintenance. So basically class, itong walong ito yung i-discuss natin for this meeting. Okay. So we go now with the first content of the scope of the conceptual framework, which is the objective of general purpose financial reporting. So I'm gonna need somebody to read na lang yung yung nandito sa book. Pero parang same lang naman siya. Yeah, same lang. Okay, may I ask somebody to read the slide? Okay, sabay-sabay. Dito na lang ako mag-base sa sa nakikita ko. Si na lang, si Jane. Jane, Marnell?
Good evening po.
Good evening.
Objective of General Purpose Financial Reporting. The objective of General Purpose Financial Reporting is to provide financial information about the reporting entity that is useful to primary users in making decisions about providing resources to the entity. The objective of General Purpose Financial Reporting forms the foundation of the conceptual framework.
Okay, thank you, Jane. So, ayan, class, objective of general purpose financial reporting. If you're going to read that again, meron kang dyan parang, sasabihin mo, parang familiar. Familiar yung objective. So, sayin natin, so, provide financial info that is useful to primary users in making decisions. So, di ba, parang lang din siya parang definition lang ng accounting. And para lang din siyang objective, di ba? Primary purpose of accounting. So, doon lang siya halos umiikot. Paulit-ulit na nga siya. Okay? And then, again, sabi dito, itong objective ng general purpose financial reporting, it forms the foundation of the conceptual framework. So, wala naman masyadong discussion. So, kindly na lang. Kindly remember na yung objective of general purpose financial reporting, ayan, i-create siya yung nagsiserve as foundation of the conceptual framework. Okay. Sige, next slide tayo. Yan. So, discuss din dito, class, yung primary users. No? Again, this is very redundant na. Ano? So, na-mention naman na dito, who are the primary users? And then, as defined, sabi dito, itong primary users daw, hindi pala ito defined. Ang sabi lang, itong primary users, these are the users who cannot demand information directly from reporting entities. And who are these primary users? So basically, yan, mga investors, pwedeng existing at pwedeng potential, at saka mga creditors or lenders. So yan yung mga primary users na sinasabi dito. And then may note dito, class, only the common needs of primary users are met by the financial statement. So mag-dwell tayo ng konti dito, discuss natin ano kaya yung himayin lang natin sinasabi dito na primary users daw cannot demand information directly from reporting entities. And then may pahabol pa, yung common needs lang nila ang nami-met by the FS. So yun, class, siguro let's dig deeper. Ano ba ibig sabihin nun? Class? I mean, siguro in your perspective, no, anong ibig sabihin nito? Bakit ganun yung sinasabi niya? 'Di ba parang if we discussed before, if you remember it, no, 'di ba sino ba tong mga primary users or yung mga tinatawag nating intended users? Ayan, binigay na. They are the investors. They are the creditors. So sila yung mga relevant users of FS. Kasi itong mga investors and even creditors, no, they are the ones who provide the finances for the company. They provide funds para ma-sustain ng company yung operation niya. So ngayon, having said that, we realize na gano'n ka-importante itong mga taong to. Pero ano yung sinasabi dito na they cannot demand information from the reporting entities. Sige, Rob, pagbigyan ko muna si Alba. Si Alba Joyce. Yes, Alba Joyce. Alba?
Naririnig po?
Yes, yes.
Apo. Kaya po hindi sila makapag-demand ng other information kasi po yung financial statement kasi po general po siya, and then doon lang po sila magbe-base ng decision nila. Kasi po
Okay.
common po.
Okay, all right. Yes, tama. Okay, how about the other two who raised their hand earlier? Parang hindi ko, ayan, sige, si Andrea Lois.
Malinaw po.
Yes.
For me po yung primary users, they cannot demand information directly from reporting entities dahil sila po ay mga external users lang. And ang na-provide nga lang po ng financial statements ay common needs dahil ang tinitingnan lang naman po ng mga investors or lenders and other creditors ay yung financial position ng isang entity para makapag-decide sila if mag-invest sila or mag-lend sila ng pera. Yun lang po.
All right. Well said. How about you, Rob? May dadagdag ka?
Sir, halos ganun din po. Dahil nga po yung mga potential investors and lenders, creditors po ay external users po ng financial information. Hindi po sila makakapag-demand dahil ito pong pinoprovide ng entity or company na information is kumbaga general purpose pang kung nasa discretion na po ng investors and lenders kung paano sila magdidig deep, pero dun po sila mag-start sa dito po sa general purpose ng
Company.
na provide ng company. Thank you po.
Alright. Alright. So, thank you, no, for those three, no? Ayan. So, yeah, exactly what they said, no? So, tama, no? Kasi nga, itong mga to, they are the primary users. Kaya sila yung mga common users. Kumbaga, if we're going to oppose that to the other kind of user, no? Ito naman yung tinatawag nating, if you will remember, di ba, ito yung mga common reports, common FS. On the other hand, yung other side of the coin is the special reports. In which yung special reports, those are the reports normally is ang nag-require is the management, no? O kaya naman yung BIR para dun sa mga tax reports, yun yung mga in which on their level, no, they have the capacity or they have the authority to demand those kind of reports. On the other hand, itong mga primary users, no, as mentioned earlier by, I believe si Andrea Wari nagsabi, no, that's correct, no. So basically, hindi naman sila yung nagma-manage talaga ng operations, no. What they do is they give their money, whether you are investor or creditor, no. Same lang naman ng ano yan, ng ng parang end result, may babalik sa kanilang parang return on investment. So ganun lang kanila. They do not need really yung special reports. What they need is the FS lang, and then depende na sa kanila. Kung investor ka, saan ka titingin? Kung creditors ka, saan ka titingin? So yeah, I guess that's it, no? Yun lang naman. Kumbaga yung FS, which is being produced, or which is yung result ng operation, sapat na yun sa kanila. And then when it comes to demand ng information, it is the management, it is the BIR and other other outside parties like SEC and any other regulating agency, no, that would require the business to report their FS and other reports din. Kasi ano yan for regulatory purposes. Okay? Sige, ayan. I believe na narinig ko naman yung reason for the discussion of this slide. So okay na yan. Sige. Okay, bilis. Qualitative ka agad. Okay. Yun, okay. Ayun. So again, discuss din naman dito yung class, na-discuss din naman dito sa page 40 yung tinanong ko kanina. So you can read that naman sa book. And then we have here, before tayo pumunta dito sa qualitative characteristics, no? Sa page 40. Sige, discuss natin ng konti ito. Decisions about providing resources to the entity. Okay, sige. Okay na to. That's understandable. And then information on economic resources, claims and changes. Okay. Sige. Discuss natin lang para hindi sayang itong mga page na to. So yung mga may libro, no, please punta kayo sa page 40. And then discuss natin ng quick itong page 40, decisions about providing resources to the entity. So pakibasa naman ng may libro for the benefit of those I don't have the book. Leia Roma, DND.
Decisions about providing resources to the entity. The primary user's decisions about providing resources to the entity involve decisions on A. Buying, selling, or holding investments, B. Providing or settling loans and other forms of credit, or C. Exercising voting or similar rights that could influence management's actions relating to the use of the entity's economic resources. These decisions depend on the investor, lender, other creditors' expected returns. Expectations about returns, in turn, depend on assessment of the entities, prospects for future net cash inflows, and management stewardship. To make these assessments, investors, lenders, and other creditors need information on the economic resources of the entity, claims against the entity, and changes in those resources and claims, and how efficiently and effectively the entity's management has utilized the entity's economic resources.
All right. So that's quite a read, ano? Thank you, Miss Leia. Okay, class. Ayan. So again, these are just further discussion of the previous slide, no? Itong primary user. Ayan. So, ano lang natin? Discuss lang natin ng konti. Of course, no? If you are an investor, so ito yung mga possible na actions na gawin mo. You can buy shares, no? You can buy shares dito sa company. You can also sell and then or hold. So if you're an investor and you are, let's say, attracted to the condition of the company, no? Isipin nyo na lang sa ano, isipin nyo na lang yung mga listed companies. Are you familiar pala sa Philippine Stock Exchange? May familiar sa inyo, Kas?
Medyo po.
Medyo po.
Ayan, ano. So, yun na lang gawin natin yung example, no? Listed companies. You can research on that. Isulat ko lang na. Listed companies. Ayan. So, when we say listed companies or yung mga, yun na lang yung term natin. Ito yung mga companies that decide to go on public. Ano ibig sabihin nun? Ibig sabihin, ino-open nila yung kanilang shares sa public. Ibig sabihin, anyone can buy shares of stocks, no, from the company. So yun. So ikaw, as someone na, let's say, avid investor ka, and then isa ka sa mga trader ng Philippine Stock Exchange, no? So malamang. So example, kilalang din si Jollibee, si SM, si BDO, si SMDC. So yan yung mga malalaking company, ano, yung mga Ayala Company. Those are some of the publicly listed companies. Ibig sabihin, pwede kang bumili ng stocks nila through a stockbroker. So maraming klase ng stockbroker in which, yun, buy mo yung mga shares of stocks nila. So ngayon, as an investor, meron kang dalawang pamamaraan paano kumita as investor. So una, ano lang, yung through dividends. No, so yung mga company, lahat naman yun, lahat ng mga listed companies, no. There's a time in a year, or let's say times in a year, that these companies provide dividends for their shareholders. So yun, yung dividends, alam niyo naman na yung konsepto ng ano, sabihin dun sa operations resulting into profit. So binibigyan nila ng share yung mga investors nila in the form of dividends. So that's one of the of the two ways para kumita yung investor. So what's the other one? Yun yung tinatawag nating trading. Kumbaga, bibilin mo yung stocks nila at a lower price, and then you will decide, and then when the market price of their shares goes up, no, you will dispose or you will sell those shares at a higher price. So sa madaling sabi, binenta mo ng, let's say, yung shares ng Jollibee, bumili ka ng 1,000 shares at, let's say, 1,000 pesos, and then let's say after 3 months, yung 1,000 per share naging 1,100. So it's 100 na increase per share. You multiply mo yan by 1,000, so you have 100,000 na increase sa investment value mo. So that is a clear profit for you. So yun yung sinasabi dito na buying, selling, or holding ng investments. As investor, pwede mo siya ibenta, pwede ka bumili pa, or pwede mo siya i-hold. Okay? I hope that's clear. And then, itong listed companies na, ito lang yung nilagay kong example para mas maganda yung discussion. But then again, pwede namang investor ka din ng mga private company, pero for you to be an investor ka private company, ano yun, medyo pag kasi sinabi nating hindi pala private, yung mga non-listed. Pag kasi non-listed companies, ibig sabihin, yung mga shareholders nun is exclusive lang to those na inalaw nila na bumili. Unlike ng mga listed companies, anyone can buy. Even ano pa nga even foreigner pwede rin bumili kasi open siya sa public. Okay? And then for letter B, this is about ano naman? This is about creditors. So yan, creditors naman is nagpapautang. So saan sila titingin? Tingin lang sila sa cash flows of the company. So titingin din sila sa liabilities of the company para makita nila ano ba yung kapasidad ng company na makapagbayad. Ano? So that's it. That's letter B. And then for letter C naman, exercising voting or similar rights. No, this is about investors or also or shareholders in which yung hawak nilang shares of stocks is sobrang dami. Sabihin, di ba, saan nga ito nadidiscuss? Sa investment ito nadidiscuss, sa intermediate accounting. Whereas, di ba, may corresponding, percentage at saka yung classification mo rin as investor. Whereas, kung the higher the percentage, pwede ka nang magkaroon na ng rights, let's say, to vote or rights to interfere with the operations. So, yun. Hindi ko lang siya ma-recall right now, no, yung mga percentages. Pero I hope na iintindihan niyo yung sinasabi ko.
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. Wait lang, klasa. Nagpapaquiz din kasi ako ngayon eh. And kasi originally may class talaga ako ngayon, But since quiz naman nila, kaya yan, naisingit natin tong klase natin. Okay. Dito naman sa pangalawang paragraph sa decisions, dinidiscuss lang dito yung prospects for future net cash inflows and management stewardship. So management stewardship, ibig sabihin, entrusted sa management yung when we say management, so these are the personnel, di ba? From president down to the last level of management. Pero ibig sabihin is since ang companies, that especially the publicly listed companies, no, these are owned by a lot of people, by public. So ibig sabihin, ikaw na investors, no, you are entrusting those in management to yung pera mo. Kumbaga, kaya ka nga nag-invest kasi you are confident with their management skills. So you are entrusting your resources, particularly your money, na mapapalago nila yung yung pera mo. Na after some time, lalaki pa yung fund mo because of the good performance or operations of the company. Okay? So punta tayo dito sa information on economic resources, claims, and changes. Sige, pakibasa naman ako yung A and B lang. Si Ayla. What's the name?
Ayla Fatima po.
Yes, please. Sige.
Information on economic resources, claims, and changes. General purpose financial reports provide information on reporting entities. A. Financial position. Information on economic resources, assets, and claims against the reporting entity, liabilities, and equity. And B. Changes in economic resources and claims. Information on financial performance, income and expenses, and other transactions and events that lead to changes in financial position.
Okay. Thank you. So dito class, dinidiscuss lang naman. So ano ba yung mga information na makikita mo when you see the financial position or balance sheet, tsaka itong income statement or statement of financial performance. So you are very familiar with this, Okay, collectively, these are referred to under the conceptual framework as the economic phenomena. So, yan, pakikitandaan na lang ito, ano? Economic phenomena. Music phenomena naman, this is an event. So, economic events, parang ganun. So, economic resources and claims, okay na to. Huwag na natin masyadong discuss to. This is very clear naman na sa atin. Alright. Okay, sige. Proceed na tayo, class, sa ano? Sa qualitative characteristics. Yeah. So, I don't know if this topic was discussed no, sa inyong basic accounting. Ano ba yung basic accounting nyo? FAR ba?
Opo.
Ayan, FAR. Ano? Kasi, dito kasi sa amin, when I crafted the curriculum, hindi ko sinunod yung galing sa CHED. Instead of adapting the CMO ng CHED kung ano yung mga subjects, niretain namin yung dating pangalan ng subject, which is Fundamentals of Accounting Part 1 with with 6 units siya na with allotted 6 units. Unlike yung FAR nyo, parang 3 units lang yan, ano?
6 na po sa bagong curriculum, yung pong freshman po ngayon.
Oh, okay. Sa inyo?
Ano po, FAR 1 and 2 po, tig 3 units po.
Oh, okay. FAR 1 and FAR 2. Okay, nice. So yung FAR 1, yun yung basic, tapos yung FAR 2, yung partnership corpo.
Ano po, yung FAR 1 po, ano lang po, review po nung cycle ng basic po. Tapos partnership na po hanggang dissolution po ata. Tapos
yung FAR 1 pa din.
Opo. Tapos pagdating po sa FAR 2, ano po, parang tuloy po, dissolution hanggang liquidation po ng partnership hanggang corporation na po.
Okay, that's almost the same, ano?
Opo.
Pero tig 3 lang siya. Mabigat ha, mabigat. Kasi ang hirap, madaming topic kasi ang partnership sa corporation eh. Sige. Thank you for enlightening me. For the enlightenment. Okay. So ayun, class, so dito kasi sa amin, parang yung FAR 1 nyo, tsaka yung FAR 2 is tig 6 units sila sa amin dito. Kasi madami-dami talaga siya eh. Okay, sige. Discuss natin to. Qualitative characteristics. Okay? Pakibasa naman ako dun sa yung paragraph ng qualitative characteristics sa page 44. Yes, Maui Gian.
Good evening po.
Evening.
Qualitative characteristics. The qualitative characteristics of useful financial information identify the types of information that are likely to be most useful to the primary users in making decisions using an entity's financial report. Qualitative characteristics apply to information in the financial statements as well as to financial information provided in other ways. Maganda lang po.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so given naman dyan yung definition ng qualitative characteristics, So even though most of the information provided by accounting is quantitative, still, hindi naman nawawala yung qualitative characteristics ng information natin. Kasi nga, as mentioned dito, itong mga qualitative characteristics na to, ito yung magiging way. Ito yung magiging, ito yung mag-provide ng usefulness of those quantitative information. And, so, being said that, primarily quantitative siya. But itong quantitative information natin, it should be equipped with qualitative characteristics for this information to be more useful to intended users. Okay, so this is not, I'm confident hindi nyo ito first time makikita, tama? Class. Or ngayon lang natin,
Nabasa
ngayon nyo lang
lang
mag-discuss ito. Pero dun sa
Wala
previous
po,
topic, I mean sa FAR 1.
Wala pa.
Okay. So that's probably a change din talaga sa content. Sige. Kasi nung students kami, sa basic accounting, parang 4-1, doon pa lang na-discuss na 'to eh. So maybe there's a change na talaga ng laman per topic. Sige, let's discuss this thoroughly. Okay, class, now, you have to remember this kasi lumalabas sa board exam to. Kailangan nyo memoryahin to. Memoryahin nyo yan as well as their definition. Okay, kaya pala nung unang discussion natin, parang hindi kayo familiar dito sa mga kasi na-discuss to ng konti ng chapter 1 di ba? Okay. So class, so when it comes to qualitative characteristics, please remember there are two First is the fundamental qualitative characteristics, and then yung pangalawa is the enhancing. And then, dun sa fundamental, meron siyang characteristics, relevance, tsaka faithful representation. And then those sub-characteristics, may sub-characteristics pa. Okay? So yung relevance, may predictive value, tsaka feedback value. Yun namang faithful representation, meron siyang completeness, neutrality, and free from error. Ayan, medyo sumasakit na yung mata ko. Wait lang, class, Ayan. Okay, class, pasensya na. Tapos na yung quiz ng klase ko. Okay, let's proceed. Thank you, Elaine. Ayan, class, pakitandaan na lang yan. You can have your different approaches on how to remember things. Basta tandaan nyo yan. And then, after nung fundamental, we have enhancing. Ayan. Sa enhancing, meron tayong 4. Ayan. Comparability, verifiability, timeliness, saka understandability. Ayan. So, discuss natin isa-isa. Wala na palang definition yung yung fundamental. There should be. Ayan. Ayan, class. Distinction between fundamental and enhancing qualitative characteristics. Pag sinabi nating fundamental, so it makes the information useful to users. Okay? But yun namang enhancing, it enhance the usefulness of the information. So para siyang support, Support siya ng fundamental. Okay? So that's just a definition naman. Pakitandaan. Kasi magmamatter dyan yung mga laman ng mga yan. Okay, so punta na tayo sa relevance. Okay? Plus, before ako mag-discuss, gumagalaw ba yung yung tawag dito? Yung screen, yung sinashare screen ko?
Opo.
Gumagalaw siya, no? Ba't kaya? Sige. Sige, ganyan. Okay, punta na tayo sa relevance, no? Pwede naman tayong mag-stay na lang dito sa slide. Ayan, so pakitandaan, class, pag sinabi nating relevance, no? Ibig sabihin, it would affect the decision of the users. Ibig sabihin, the information, having knowledge of the information should affect your decision para kaya siya nagiging relevant. So, on the other hand, if the decision, after knowing the decision at hindi naman na-apektuhan yung decision mo, you stay with your current decision. Those information does not change your thought on something, edi hindi siya relevant. So if it would affect your decision and ultimately magbabago ka ng decision, yan. Ibig sabihin, relevant yung information. So to be relevant, it should have these two sub-characteristics. Predictive value. Ayan, straightforward lang naman class yung mga word. Predictive value tsaka confirmatory value. So mahalaga dito na alam nyo yung mga words, yung vocabulary ninyo, para mas madali nyo siyang maintindihan. Okay, predictive. So, it can be used in making predictions. And then confirmatory, mako-confirm mo naman yung mga past predictions mo using those information. Okay, so pakitandaan na lang yung mga hint word. So, wala naman masyado. Tingnan natin dito. Ayan, sige. Ako na lang magbabasa. Predictive value and confirmatory value are interrelated. Pag sinabing interrelated, ay they're connected. Okay? Para silang interdependent. Information that has predictive value is likely to also have confirmatory value. For example, revenue in the current period can be used to predict revenue in future period, and at the same time can also be used in confirming a past prediction. Ayan, So, kumbaga, by knowing kung magkano yung sabihin natin naging revenue of the company in this quarter, diba? And then if you want to predict of what could be the revenue of the same company in the next quarter, diba? Pwede mo siyang maging basehan yung information na yun to predict yung magiging revenue in the next quarter. O kaya naman yung on that of yung the quarter of that, diba? Yung next year pero same quarter, parang gano'n. On the other hand, pag dumating ka na sa point na nandun ka na sa pinipredict mo, you can now confirm kung yun bang current na revenue is kung kino-confirm ba niya yung prediction mo. So, nag-make sense, class?
Yes po.
Yes po, malinaw po.
Okay, thank you. So that's it for our predictive value and confirmatory value. So we have another characteristic here, no? But please take note that materiality is not a sub-characteristic of relevance. So this is a discussion under relevance pero hindi siya sub-characteristic. Sige. I'm gonna ask somebody to read na lang itong materiality concept. Anybody who wants to read this one? Key Medina.
Good evening,
The
sir.
last one.
Information is material if omitting, misstating, or obscuring it could reasonably be expected to influence decision that the primary users of a specific reporting entity's general purpose financial statement make on the basis of those financial statements.
Sige, hanggang dun sa
Okay, sir.
bago mag-step 1.
The conceptual framework states that materiality is an entity-specific aspect of relevance, meaning materiality depends on the facts and circumstances surrounding a specific entity. Accordingly, the conceptual framework and the standards do not specify a uniform quantitative threshold for materiality. Materiality is matter of judgment. IFRS or Practice Statement 2, Making Materiality Judgments provides a non-mandatory guidance that entities may follow in making materiality judgments. The guidance consists of 4-step process called the materiality process. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Key. Galing mo naman magbasa. Ayan. Okay, class, no? So, materiality, ulitin ko lang, this is a concept here in relevance, no? But it's not a sub-characteristic of relevance. So, this is another concept. Pero you have to know this also. Okay, again, ito, famous to, itong materiality. No? Natatanong din lagi ito sa board exam. Paki-take note yung mga yung mga naka-highlight, especially yung sinasabi dito na matter of judgment. That is really true. Kasi again, walang standard dito. Threshold or walang standard rules. It is a matter of judgment. It depends on the end user, it depends on the industry, it depends on everything. Depende na sa management. Kung kailan nila i-consider as material yung information. Okay? Pero by defining materiality, sinasabi dito is, ito, sabi is, an information is material if omitting it, misstating, or obscuring it could influence your decision. That is, so parang medyo close siya to relevance. Na if magbabago ba yung decision mo kapag na-omit yung information na yun? Or pag na mali ba yung presentation or yung amount ng let's say ng cash. Yung mga ganun, materiality concept. No? So meron ditong diniscuss na process, no? I don't know, hindi ako nagdidual dito. Pwede niyong basahin na lang ito. Ang mahalaga dito is yung definition ng materiality ng sinasabi dito, yung unang paragraph ng materiality. You have to remember that. And then, materiality is a matter of judgment. It depends on the management na. And how are they going to apply the threshold? Okay? Question about it? May question kayo, class, sa materiality?
Wala po.
Okay, thank you. So, yun lang naman, class, kumbaga sa materiality kasi, for example, for the sake of discussion, is 1 peso material to 1 million? Diba? Or is 1 peso material to 10 pesos? Mga ganun lang naman siya, Pero wag nyo tong wag nyong isisingit yung discussion ng materiality pagdating dun sa pagdating sa accounting process, 'di ba? 'Di ba sa accounting process, especially sa trial balance, 'di ba? Na kahit pa sentabo lang 'yan, kailangan nating hinahanap. Kasi pagdating sa trial balance, it should always balance, no? 'Di ba? There's always a meme on that na kung kulang man yan, let's say, ng 100 pesos, 'di ba? Parang abunuhan na lang, mga ganun, etc. So, wag niyong pagbabanggain yung konsepto ng materiality at yung konsepto naman ng dapat balance lagi dun sa natin, sa accounting process, no? Kasi walang patutunguhan yung discussion, yung argumento na yun. Okay? Sige. So, that is materiality for you. Punta tayo sa next slide. Yeah. So we have now faithful representation. So this is a sub-characteristic ng relevance. And sige, pakibasa naman ako dito sa sa book. Yung sa faithful representation. Ikaw na lang, Casey.
Faithful representation. Faithful representation means the information provides a true, correct, and complete depiction of the economic phenomena that it purports to represent. When an economic phenomenon's substance differs from its legal form, faithful representation requires the depiction of substance. Depicting only the legal form would not faithfully represent the economic phenomenon. Faithfully represented information has the following characteristics.
Okay. Thank you. Casey. Yeah, so ito naman, class, mas madali lang din ang discussion ito. So faithful representation. This is very straightforward. Faithfully represented. So dapat i-present kung ano yung dapat i-present. So hindi, kumbaga, walang kailangang itago, walang kailangang baguhin. Yeah, i-present kung ano yung dapat. It should be faithfully represented. Kung ano man yung, ano nga yung kasabihan doon? I forget the line, pero kung ano man yan, edi i-present natin. What is, I don't know, kung ma-recall. Ayun, class, so maganda dito sa sa faithful representation and its sub-characteristics, hindi naman very very interrelated yung mga sub-characteristics sa faithful representation, di ba? if the presented financial information is complete, neutral, and free from error, no? So, sa madaling sabi, faithfully represented. Ayan. So, pag sinabi natin completeness, ayan, all information necessary for users to understand is provided. Ayan, so complete. So, kung kompleto, so wala kang inumit, no? That would lead to faithful representation. Even itong pangalawa at pangatlo. So, neutrality. So, dapat walang bias. No? So, without bias yung presentation. Siyempre, yung bias kasi na tinutukoy natin dyan is, di ba, whenever we present information, yeah, that's possible na merong maapektuhan or pwedeng may mag may mag may magbe-benefit or merong mape-prejudice. But then again, no, you don't have to take sides when presenting information. Dapat neutral tayo. I-present kung ano yung dapat i-present. And then free from error. So this is very straightforward also, no? Walang error. No errors in the description, in the process by which information is applied or and selected. Ayan. So that's it, class, no, for faithful representation. So check natin kung may iba pa siyang discussion. Ay, sige. May example dito. Okay. So dun sa libro, class, no, further discussion, ano, completeness include description of the nature of the item, numerical depiction, and explanation of significant facts surrounding the items. No? So, ibig sabihin dito, yung mga explanations, makikita mo yan sa notes to financial statements, etc. Sa neutrality naman, konti lang yan. So, basahin ko itong neutrality, ha. Information is not manipulated to increase the probability that users will receive it favorably or unfavorably. Just like what I have said earlier. And then sabi dito, neutrality is supported by prudence. Yan. I hope you remember prudence, no? Sa chapter 1 natin yan. Which is the use of caution when making judgment under conditions of uncertainty. Ayan. So equally, the exercise of prudence does not allow the understatement of assets and liabilities because FS would not be faithfully represented. Ayan. So please take note daw, neutrality is supported by prudence. So, di ba yung prudence, sabi natin, ito yung whenever merong uncertain events, no? So, ano yung dapat na actions natin? So, prudence, ibig sabihin, or conservatism, isipin mo yung ano yung magiging consequence of doing those actions. Na pag nagkamali ba, yung epekto is favorable o unfavorable sa company. So, ganun. So, whenever we do things, no, dapat dun tayo sa pag nagkamali, favorable sa company. That's being conservative, being prudent. Okay? Kumbaga, ano yung kung magkamali man is, ang epekto sa company is minimal lang. Minimal na error. Okay? That's it. And then, free from error. Free from error. Yeah, that's very straightforward naman. Kumbaga, dapat yung information natin is accurate in all respects. Okay, so clear naman, class, yung ating fundamental qualitative characteristics.
Yes po.
All right, thank you. So punta naman tayo dun sa enhancing. Ayan. So again, as discussed earlier, no, when we say enhancing, no, it supports the information of the it supports the usefulness of the information. Support ito ng fundamental. So we have comparability, verifiability, timeliness, at saka understandability. Ayan. So mahaba-haba wari ito. So isa-isahin natin. Sige, pabasa naman ako ng comparability. Leveling. Tapos yung kay Trina, ano yan? Trina Mary. Sa'yo yung ano? Sa'yo yung verifiability. Sige, dun muna tayo.
Enhance comparability. Information is comparable if it helps users identify similarities and differences between different sets of information that are provided by a single entity but in different periods. Comparability or different entities in a single period. Intercomparability. Unlike the other qualitative characteristics, comparability does not relate to only one item because a comparison requires at least two items. Comparison is not uniformity, meaning like things must look alike and different things must look differently. It would be inappropriate to make different things look alike or vice versa. Although related, consistency and comparability are not the same. Consistency refers to the use of the same methods of the same items. Comparability is the goal while consistency is the means of achieving that goal.
Okay. Thank you, Levity. Ang daming ano, no? Ang daming mga food for thought, ano? Ang pageant. Anyway, sige. Yan. Comparability, no? We just think of its root word, which is compare. So this is just comparing, no? Comparing. Dapat daw yung information ng business, yung quantitative information is comparable siya. So saan or kanino siya dapat may compare? So depende na ano. So we have here intra-comparability at saka enter-comparability. Ano? So guys, hindi ko to isasama sa quiz, no? Para alam niyo na kaagad. Alamin lang natin tong intra tsaka inter-comparability na. So intra, so we're only talking about one entity but with two different periods of that same entity. On the other hand, intercomparability naman, the single period but two different entities. Ayan. Ano lang yan, mga variation lang ng comparability. Okay? So again, so what do we do when we compare, no? Of course, we see the similarities and the differences. We compare. Okay, ang sabi ko dito. Okay, that's clear naman. Ano? Kaya nga comparability, so we'll be needing two items to compare. Okay. Ayan. Then yung mga last two paragraphs are just distinction ng comparability sa uniformity at saka sa consistency. So this is just a matter of elaboration by the author, no? But please remember yung yung unang paragraph. Okay? Punta naman tayo sa verifiability. Sige, sino yung tinawag ko kanina?
Ako po, sir.
Sige, pakibasa.
Verifiability. Information is verifiable if different users could reach a general agreement as to what the information purports to represent. Verification can be direct or indirect. Direct verification involves direct observation. Example, counting of cash. Indirect verification involves checking the inputs to a model or formula and recalculating the outputs using the same methodology. Example, checking the debits and credits in the cash ledger and recalculating the ending balance.
Okay, thank you, Tina. So yun class, verifiability naman, ano? So ang verifiability lang is, kumbaga, using the same, let's say, policy or using the same approach, no? Kumbaga, pero same result yung magiging outcome. Halimbawa, si company A, they are using FIFO method, no? Sa inventory. So kung ano man yung pag-compute ng inventory, no? Pagdating sa, let's say, sa beginning and ending inventory, they are using FIFO. So let's say same data, ano? And then if that approach, no, is if that method is used by the same by other entity, no? Would the result be the same? So parang ganon, hindi parang ganon. Yun yung verifiability. Okay? And other than that, no, so dito din, sabi din dito, different users. Kumbaga, even though iba yung gumamit, no, kahit sino pa man yung gumamit or mag-apply nung ganong approach or method, no, dapat is same dapat yung magiging result. So, verifiability, root word is verified. Other synonyms ng verified is parang confirm. So, confirmation. Alright? So, katulad ng example dito, direct tsaka indirect. So, counting of cash. So, sabihin natin, binilang ni cashier yung cash ng company, and then sabihin natin it is, let's say, 1.5 million. So, kung bibilangin ba yan ni auditor, no, nang siya naman yung magbibilang, no, would it be 1.5 million then? So, something like that. So, ibig sabihin is, kumbaga, mabe-verify yung information, no, ng ibang ng another party, ng another person, not the same user. Okay, I hope that's clear. Then we have timeliness and understandability, no. Yung timeliness, this is very straightforward, no. Information is available kapag kailangan. Okay? Timeliness. So, yun lang naman ang timeliness. Dapat kung kailangan siya, dapat available siya para maging useful. And then sa understandability, yan, it has to be discussed kasi mayroong iba pang gustong i-explain. So, paki-read naman ako nung nasa libro. Sige, si Risa. Risa Rangel?
Good evening
Sige.
po.
Good evening.
Understandability. Information is understandable if it is presented in a clear and concise manner. Understandability does not mean that complex matters should be excluded to make information understandable to users, because this would make information incomplete and potentially misleading. Accordingly, financial reports are intended for users who have reasonable knowledge of business activities and who are willing to analyze information efficiently.
Okay, thank you, Risa. Ayun, class, So, initially, pag sinabi nating understandability or understandable, no? So, parang ang dating nito is, dapat daw is yung information, financial information provided by the company is understandable, no? So, parang ang dating is, it is the responsibility of the management to make this quantitative information understandable. Nakukuha nyo? So parang the responsibility is solely given to the management, to the company. No, nakukuha nyo, class? Yun yung initial na impression. But hindi lang yun. Sa understandability, mayroon ding responsibility yung user. Na dapat, si user daw is meron din siyang reasonable knowledge of the business activities. Pangalawa, the users are willing to analyze the information. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, class, linawin natin once and for all, under this concept of understandability, no, it is the management of the company and the intended users who have the responsibility to fulfill itong konsepto ng understandability. Una, si management, ayan, kailangan syempre, ano sabi doon? Yung presentation of the information should be magiging understandable sa users. And pangalawa, ayun, di ba? Kasi when we say understandable, parang iniisip natin, dapat hindi siya maging complicated. Kasi kung magiging complicated yung information na ipoprovide mo, mahirap intindihin, madidipit niya yung purpose of being understandable. But it's not the case. If the information is complicated, but that is the information that should be presented, i-present natin. It would be the responsibility of the user When we say user, yun yung ano class yun yung primary users yun yung intended users. So it would be their responsibility to have a reasonable knowledge para maintindihan nila yung mga complicated matters. And second, they should be willing to analyze those information. Kumbaga, hindi yan i-spoon feed ni company na they would be the one to explain those for you para maintindihan mo. Hindi. Ikaw as investor, as creditor, syempre, dapat meron ka rin sarili mong understanding. 'Di ba? So how can you how can you have those parang willing ka ba na ibibigay mo yung pera mo as investor, as creditor na without knowing kung ano ba talaga yung performance ng company and everything that's happening on that company. Di ba parang as a responsible investor or creditor, syempre magre-research ka rin ng sarili mo. Kumbaga, i-confirm mo rin, i-verify mo din, wait lang. I-verify mo rin yung nababasa mo sa internet at yung financial reports ng company dun sa pinipresent nila. Okay? So I hope clear sa inyo yung understandability class, no? Nagdual ako ng konti sa understandability kasi lumalabas din talaga, during my review days, talagang itong mga to class, itong mga sinishare ko sa inyo, ito yung mga nare-recall kong natatanong sa handouts sa review, and even sa actual board exam. Kaya I don't know, matagal na ako nakapasa 2015. Pero fresh pa din. Siguro kasi dahil nga I do teaching. Okay, so I hope clear sa inyo class, no? Yung ating enhancing qualitative characteristics. May tanong ba?
Wala po.
Okay. Ayan. Excuse. Pakibasa naman dong applying the qualitative characteristics. Andrea.
Applying the qualitative characteristics. The fundamental qualitative characteristics are essential to the usefulness of information, meaning information must be both relevant and faithfully represented for it to be useful. For example, neither irrelevant information that is erroneous nor a correct information that is irrelevant helps users make good decisions. The enhancing qualitative characteristics only enhance the usefulness of information that is both relevant and faithfully represented, but cannot make information that is irrelevant or erroneous to be useful. Accordingly, the enhancing qualitative characteristics should be maximized to the extent possible. There is no prescribed order in applying the enhancing qualitative characteristics. Sometimes one enhancing qualitative characteristic may have be sacrificed to maximize another.
Okay. Thank you, Andrea. Ayan. Parang si kanina. Sino yun? Yung maganda rin magbasa. Ayan, sige. Ayan, class, so itong applying the qualitative characteristics, hinihit lang natin yung learning objective natin, which is the objective number 4, applying the qualitative characteristics. Okay, to briefly discuss this, dapat is yung fundamental and enhancing qualitative characteristics should be both present, hindi siya yung one way or another. So the way of saying is they are mutually dependent. Ayan, ganun. So ibig sabihin dapat parehong present yung characteristics, hindi lang siya yung isa lang nandun, isa lang yung isa wala, mga ganun. Okay, and then meron ditong sinasabi, sometimes one enhancing qualitative characteristic, you have to be sacrificed to maximize another. Okay lang naman yun. Kasi, again, everything kasi would depend on the discretion of the management. Kumbaga, ano ba yung gusto nilang i-highlights? Ano ba yung priority nila? I don't know kung nandito yon yung trade-off. Yung trade-off between wala rin dito. Sige. Paki-remind ako dyan. Hanapin ko yan. No? Or maganda yun eh. Magandang ano lang siya. Meron kasing trade-off between these characteristics. No? Hindi ko na lang ma-recall right now. Ayoko lang maging idle. So, sige. Paki-ano lang ako, remind ako doon. Hanapin natin yun. Kumbaga, there's a trade-off between these characteristics. No? Na again, depende na sa management. Kung ano ba yung gusto nilang, ano yung priority nila at the moment. Yeah, correct. At kung ano yung needs nila on that point in time. Okay, so we have here the cost concepts. Ako na lang babasa. So the cost is pervasive constraint on the entity's ability to provide useful info. Providing information entails costs, and this can only be justified by the benefits expected to be derived from using the information. Accordingly, an optimum balance between cost and benefits is desirable such that costs do not outweigh the benefits. Sige, so ano lang to class, no? Cost-benefit analysis, cost constraint. Of course, no, and every actions naman that we do, no, it requires cost talaga. So again, applying the concept of cost-benefit analysis, no. In general, we only take actions that would give more benefit to us, no. Ganun lang yan. Okay, we discussed now financial statements and the reporting entity. Wala naman masyadong laman nito. Sige, pakibasa na rin. Natawag ko na wari si Alba Joyce. Ito na lang si Kay Atasha.
Yes.
Sige.
Financial statements and the reporting entity. Objective and scope of financial statement. The objective of general purpose financial statement is to provide financial information about reporting entities' assets, liabilities, equity, income, and expenses that is useful in assessing A. The entity's prospects for future net cash inflows and management stewardship over economic resources. That information is provided in the Statement of Financial Position for recognized asset, liabilities, and equity. Statements of financial performance for income and expenses. Other statements and notes for additional information on recognized assets and liabilities, information on unrecognized assets and liabilities, information on cash flows, information and contributions, form or distribution to owners, and other relevant information.
Thank you, Kay. Ayun, class, dito naman, diniscuss lang yung mga common na financial statements, no? Lagi lang naman yung balance sheet or financial position, income statement or statement of financial performance. And then, yun lang, diniscuss dito. Hindi na diniscuss yung cash flows. Okay. Yeah, so yun lang naman, no? Again, familiar naman kayo dito. Wala naman masyadong sinasabi dito. Yeah. So again, FS, of course, it provides information about the elements of the financial statements. Yung first three, assets, liability, equity, that's for balance sheet or financial position. And then the income and expenses, that is for income statement or statement of financial performance. And then, mini-mention dito, yung lima na yun, yung elements of financial statements, no? Ano ba yung ina-assess nila? Or ano ba yung pinapakita nila? Of course, the entity's prospect for future net cash inflows. So in particular, pag sinabi nating prospect for future net cash inflows, no, tingnan mo yung tingnan mo yung sales. I mean, makikita mo yung information nun sa sales, no? Sa sales revenue, sa accounts receivable. Okay? And then, pwede mo rin tingnan yung inventories, no? Kasi inventories, they are the items for sale that would lead to sales then, that would lead to, ano rin, sales or, pag sa sales, it could be cash sales or credit sales eh. So, yun. Kumbaga, tingnan mo yung mga items that would lead to, eventually magiging cash. And then, management stewardship over economic resources. So ito, as discussed kanina, no, when we say management stewardship, the responsibility is given to the management, and in terms of in terms of managing the resources and other, when we say resources, that's general, it could be money, it could be property. So yun, kumbaga, the responsibility is given to the management when it comes to managing those resources and the operations of the company. Okay. Provided information. Okay na? Okay na yan. So, punta naman tayo sa reporting period. Yun. So, reporting period, mahaba ba siya? Sige. Sige, reporting period tayo. Okay, basa naman ako. Sino pa ba? Sige, si Christian Alba.
Reporting period. Financial statements are prepared for a specified period of time and provide information on assets, liabilities, and equity that existed at the end of the reporting period or during the reporting period, and income and expenses for the reporting period.
Sige, tuloy mo pa.
Comparative information. Okay po. To help users of financial statements in evaluating changes and trends, financial statements also provide comparative information for at least one preceding reporting period. For example, an entity's 2019 current year financial statements include the 2018 preceding year financial statements as comparative information. This allows users to assess the information's intra-comparability. Forward-looking information. Financial statements are designed to provide information about past events, like historical data. Information about possible future transactions and other events is included in the financial statements only if it relates to the past information presented in the financial statements and is deemed useful to users of financial statements. Financial statements, however, do not typically provide forward-looking information about management's expectations and strategies for the reporting entity. Financial statements include information about events after the end of the reporting period if it is necessary to meet the objective of financial statements. Perspective adopted in financial statements. Information in financial statements is prepared from the perspective of the reporting entity, not from the perspective of any particular group of financial statement user.
Okay, thank you, Christian. All right, reporting period, no? Discuss natin when we say reporting period, very clear naman yun. Ano ba yung year? Or when we say period, no, it's not just a year kasi it could be semi-annual. Pwede rin yung mga tinatawag nating interim period. Ibig sabihin, pag sinabi natin interim period, these are a period of less than 12 months. So please take note dyan. So when we say period, it could be 1 year or less. No, could be 1 whole year or interim period. So dinidiscuss lang naman dito yung dito sa comparative information, if you have the chance na no, to see an actual complete set of financial statements, makikita nyo class doon, palaging mayroong ito, yung sinasabi sa comparative information, palaging mayroong preceding, mayroong data on the preceding period. Ayan, katulad nito sa comparative information. For example, itong reporting period is 2019. So kadalasan may kasama yung 2018. No? Pero as I recall, kadalasan naman it's the balance sheet ang merong it's comparative. Dalawang taon. Saan ba pwedeng may download sa internet, especially dun sa mga broker ng PSE. Yeah, downloadable tong mga to. Pwede niyo ma-download yung FS nila kasi as shareholder or as a trader, no. Isa sa mga tinitingnan talaga yung FS ng company, no. Just singit ko lang ng konti. Alam niyo ba yung class, yung pagte-trade sa stock market? May idea kayo?
Opo.
Wala akong narinig.
Medyo po, naririnig-rinig po.
Pero meron bang sa inyo ng actual na nakaranas? Wala pa. Yes, Jane Cantillana.
Di ba po, sir?
Jane? Okay. So yan lang class Well, ako personally kasi I have experience sa stock market. Not just stock market kasi I also trade cryptocurrency, forex, and then Philippine stock market tsaka international stock market. So yeah, I have tried them all, no. Kaya meron akong mga nasi-share. So, yun. I mean, you can download yung sa nila, yung mga FS ng mga publicly listed companies for free. Mada-download mo yun. So, yun lang. Para lang makakita kayo ng actual complete set of FS of those big companies in the Philippines. No? So, yeah, pwede nyo ako i-mention class, no? Ma-remind lang ako i-mention nyo ako sa GC if you're interested on those info. Remind nyo ako about it and then download tayo minsan. Okay, lang, i-share ko sa inyo. Downloadable naman yun. So, walang worries if you have copies of those. And then, forward-looking information, no? Please take note, diba? Yung ating FS, no? Yung pinakang output ng ating ng basic ng natin, financial accounting, no? Those are from historical data. Okay? Kaya historical talaga yung ganun. Sapaga, yung mga meme dyan is we accountants, no? We cling on the past. Kasi nga historical talaga yung data natin. Then, as mentioned dito, hindi naman naglalagay ng, nasa na yan? Hindi forward-looking information. Nasa na yan? Do not typically provide forward-looking information about management expectations. So there could be reports, no, that you can find in the annual report of a company, pero you cannot find those forward-looking information sa FS. Kasi historical data yun eh. Pero you can look siguro dun sa may mga may other reports pa kasi yun, class, no? Yung pag magda-download kayo sa net, pag sinabi niyong annual report, let's say ng Jollibee. So, hindi lang FS ang laman nun. May other reports pa yon. Management responsibility, ano pa nga ba yung iba? Basta may iba pa. So, doon yung makikita probably yung mga forward-looking information. Okay? And then, itong perspective adapted in FS, that's very straightforward. No, of course, yung presentation of the FS, no, nasa lens yan ng management, not in the lens of other users, no? So, ganun lang kasimple yan. Going concern assumption, ayan. So, this is famous assumption, no? Or concept sa accounting, no? We always think or assume that itong company or reporting entity is it would continue its operation indefinitely. Kumbaga, hindi tayo tumitingin diyan sa kumbaga dun sa vision is wala doon. Wala sa vocabulary natin na yung company ay liquidate o mag-shutdown. But if those scenario or if those situations happen, ay di kailangan agad yang i-consider, no? For the syempre, for the benefit of the shareholders, of the owners of the company, no? Kailangan nilang malaman kung liquidating concern na ba. Pag liquidating concern na siya, eh di magbabago na yung mga measurement basis na gagamitin. Okay? It's getting late. Reporting entity, yan, that's the company. Yan. So kapag yung sinasabi na dito na not necessarily legal entity siya kasi there are reporting entity in accounting na hindi naman siya considered legal entity. Kasi pag sinabi nating legal entity, these are entity which are created by operation of law. Example na dyan is corporation. Diba? Corporation is considered a legal entity kasi it has to be they are created by operation of law. Unlike ng sole proprietorship, walang ganon. Basta nag-decide ka na mag-business, register ka sa DTI, punta ka sa BIR. So yun, sa DTI pa lang magkakaroon ka na ng identity yung business mo. Yung BIR naman for tax purposes. Okay, that's reporting entity. Okay. Class, andyan ba kayo? Gising pa?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay. Sige. Haba-haba kasi talaga itong topic na to. Okay, so elements of financial statements, I do believe na discuss na ito ng FAR 1 ninyo, So, hindi natin kailangan mag-dwell ng matagal dito. Alam niyo na yung mga assets, liabilities, equity, income and expenses, no? Okay, okay lang ba kung natin to? Hindi tayo magde-dwell ng matagal dito?
Opo.
Sige. Unless gusto niyo siyang meron kayong hindi naiintindihan dito. Ayan, so asset, no? Tingnan natin yan. So, sa asset naman, yan, tingin tayo dun sa mga sa mga terms niya. Kasi doon mo din naman makikita ang definition. So, merong right, meron siyang potential to produce economic benefits, at merong control. Pero yung control, may nakalagay dito, the entity has the exclusive right over the benefits of an asset and the ability to prevent others from accessing those benefits. Okay. Sige, clear naman yan. So economic resource controlled by the entity as a result of past events. Okay. Sige. Skip natin yan. Liability, this is just a mirror image of an asset. Everything opposite of the definition of an asset, it refers to liability. So, yun. So dito, kung important aspects and the definition of liability, ayan, it is an obligation, tapos merong transfer of economic benefits or transfer of economic resource. And then, ayan, yung present obligation ay result siya ng past events. Right? Okay, executory contract, quick discussion lang, I'm not sure kung tapos na kayo sa obligation and contract. So, itong term na to is quite familiar. When we say executory contracts, ibig sabihin, wala pang nare-render na kahit anuman. Wala pang actions na nagagawa. Equally unperformed. Sa contracts, there are two parties, So, either of the two, wala pang actions na nagagawa, wala pang nape-perform. Executory contract. So, yun yung executory contract. And then, once nagkaroon na ng performance on the obligation in either of the two parties, no? So, mag-stop na yung pagiging executory ng contract. If that happens, if the contract ceases to be executory, so ito na yung mga kasunod. Nagkakaroon na ng combined right and obligation. Ayan, so yan lang naman yung sinasabi yan, no? Sa executory contract. Equity, this is the residual interest, no, of the asset, no, after deducting the liabilities. Then equity, you can compute liability, no, by knowing the formula of deducting liabilities from asset. Equity. And kumbaga class, pag sinabi kasi nating liability, that is the claim of the creditors on the asset. Pag sinabi nating equity, that is the claim of the owner on the asset. Ayan. So, ano lang. Baka lang di nyo alam. Kasi yung asset natin, yeah, that's an asset. Pero, yeah, may claim. There are instances na mayroon diyang claim yung creditor tsaka yung owner. Okay, I hope that's clear. Income and expenses, again, another ano to, mga common terms. Ayan. Yeah. Skip na natin. Yan. So, sige, punta tayo dito. Sige. Yung income naman, sige, balikan natin ng konti. When we say income, so these are increases in assets, decreases in liabilities. Ayan, of course, no. Yung equity, equity is directly related to asset, no. If the asset increase, equity would also increase. On the other hand, equity is inversely related sa liability. No? Tumaas si liab, consequently, pwede bumaba si equity. Mga ganun. Sabi dito class, sa income, no, other than those relating to contribution from holders of equity claims. Kasi dito, yung sinasabing income dito is, ito yung mga transactions that increase the asset, that decrease the liability, and increase the equity. Pero we have to exclude those transactions, no, arising from the contributions of owners. Example, additional investment of the owner. Di ba additional investment, it increases asset. It also increases equity. But ito yung mga ano lang. Ito yung they are not the result of operation. Kaya sinasabi doon yung other than or excluding. So, ganun din naman sa expenses class, no? Just the opposite of the definition of income, other than those relating to distribution to holders of equity claims. So, ang example naman yan, sige, can anyone answer? Ano ba yung tinutukoy doon sa expenses? Class? Opposite lang. Opposite lang ng additional investment.
Withdrawals.
Ayan, very good. Withdrawal naman yung tinutukoy doon, ano? Kasi yung withdrawal, it would decrease asset, particularly cash, and then also decrease equity. Pero yung withdrawal, hindi siya result ng operation of the business. Okay, so that's income and expenses. Recognition and the recognition. Ayan. I believe this is just a definition, ano? Ayan. So, dito sa recognition, recall na lang natin yung accounting process, no? When do we recognize an item, no? So, basically, if the transactions would affect the elements of the financial statement, no? And the transactions can be measured reliably, Yeah, that's the time that we're going to recognize them. And by recognizing them, that would mean recording them in the journal. And then, everything will follow. The accounting process will proceed na hanggang sa makarating tayo sa FS. Yan, class. So, that is recognition process. We recognize the item provided that they would meet the recognition criteria. So, yeah, if you will look on page 65, yan. So, kung ano man yung sinabi ko, yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, yan. Na-meet niya yung definition ng elements of the FS. And then, yeah, recognizing those items would provide useful information. But for the information to be useful, no, they should be relevant and faithfully represented. Okay. Okay na yan, relevance. Okay. Sige. Okay na to. Ayan. So, class, yan naman. Opposite naman tayo ng recognition. Diba? Kung ang recognition is we make the items appear in the FS. Diba? Kasi na-meet niya yung recognition criteria, they are considered elements of FS, and then they are considered relevant and faithfully represented. Ano naman yung the recognition? So, the opposite lang. Ibig sabihin, nawala na yung, or hindi na na-meet nung item yung mga criteria na yun. So, therefore, hindi na siya magiging useful. And pangalawa, hindi na rin na nga na-meet yung mga, hindi na siya considered asset, liability, equity, income, and expense. So, wala na siyang paglagyan sa mga yon. E di, if those items no, is nawala sa yung mga criteria ay nawala dun sa item. So therefore, wala na siyang hindi na siya dapat maging part of the FS. Dapat na siyang ma-recognize. Okay? So siguro ang question ko na lang sa inyo is, what transaction can you think na pwede nating i-recognize? Na pwedeng mangyari yung the recognition? Anyone from the class? Sige, isip kayo. Diba? Halimbawa, may transaction, si owner nag-invest. So that's a recognition. We will recognize cash, and we will recognize yung capital. Ngayon, bigay naman kayo ng example sa the recognition. Anyone? Yes, Andrea.
Pwede po bang example yung receivables na binayaran na? So, i-recognize na natin siya as receivable and recognize as asset, as cash pala.
Okay. I don't think it is, no? Kasi it's just it's a transaction na meron tayong receivable, so meron tayong debit AR. Tapos meron naman tayong sales diyan sa credit, no? So it's just the transaction there is the collection of accounts receivable. That's not really the recognizing accounts receivable. Ayan. I hope clear?
Yes po.
Meron pa nag-raise ng hand kanina. Nawala na yung nag-raise ng hand. Sige. Sige, magbibigay ako ng clue. Yung example is about PPE. Yes, Maria Eliza Lopez.
Try lang po. Depreciation and amortization po.
Yeah, that's correct, pero not exactly correct. Yes, sige, si Rob.
Sir, kapag po ba yung isang PPE po ay fully depreciated na?
Ayan.
Yung lahat po, ano po.
Alright. Nakuha ni Rob, no? So, yun, class. PPE, di ba? We depreciate PPE. Di ba? Assuming na-reach na ni PPE yung, di ba? Kapag walang salvage value yung PPE, and then we just depreciate it on a straight line basis, di ba? Time welcome, mag-zero siya eh. And then, yung pag-zero niya na yun, di ba? Hindi naman nawawala. Kasi si PPE kasi, meron siyang physical substance. So, time will come, sa libro natin, zero na siya. Kasi fully depreciated. Pero, makikita mo yung PPE, functioning pa, nandyan pa rin. Ayan. So, ngayon, para officially, mawala na talaga siya sa possession ng ano, yun. I-recognize natin siya. Ayan. Na-gets nyo, class?
Yes po.
Ayan,
Yes
okay.
po.
So far, yan lang din yung alam kong example ng ano. Pero you can check the internet na kung ano pa yung mga pwedeng ilagay sa the recognition. So, ganun lang. Okay, so that's the recognition. Marami pa ba to? Dami pa. Sige, konti na lang naman, class. Basically naman, yung mga juicy discussion na discuss na natin. Okay. Okay, unit of account. Basahin na lang natin. Right or the group of rights, the obligation or the group of obligations, or the groups of rights and obligations to which recognition criteria and measurement concepts are applied. So, sa madaling sabi, class, no, ito lang yung mga account title natin. Account. Ganun lang, account. It could be cash, receivables, etc. At lahat ng makikita nyo sa chart of accounts. That's unit of account. Measurement bases, ayan. So, ito yung mga measurement bases that can be used by the company, no, in recognizing when they recognize the item. Okay, so it could be historical costs or it could be current value. Pag sinabi natin current value, meron siyang mga sub measurement basis, which is fair value, value in use, and fulfillment value, tsaka current cost. Ayan. So, ang sikat lang naman dyan is itong historical, tsaka fair value. Itong mga value in use, tsaka fulfillment, ngayon ko lang din yan naririnig. Hindi naman yan masyadong kilala at nagagamit. Even current cost. Pero daan na natin. Okay, so historical cost. Wait lang ah. So historical cost, that is very common. Ito talaga yung madalas na ginagamit. Ayan. So, halimbawa, bibili ka ng asset. Bibili ka ng PPE, no? Yun. Or kung, ano pa ba? Historical. Kung ano man yung cost na kung ano man yung cost given. Kung ano man yung nandun na nakalagay doon sa item na yun. That's historical cost. And then, yung sinasabi ditong historical cost is updated over time to depict the following. Yeah, that's true naman. Kasi for example, yung ito, dun sa PPE, di ba? Kung ano man yung cost niya nung binili mo siya, syempre, since yung PPE is subject to depreciation, so magbabago yung amount. Ang magiging tawag na doon, book value na. Hindi na siya yung historical cost. Kasi historical cost, that is the amount of that, let's say, PPE when that PPE was purchased. And then after a year, na-depreciate siya for a year, so magbabago na yung amount niya. Book value na ang tawag doon. When say book value, yun yung kanyang amount on that particular point in time. Book value. Okay, same with amortization and impairment. Depreciation, no, that is the term used for tangible assets. Amortization naman is para sa mga intangible assets. Pag naman sa impairment, kadalasan sa impairment, ang mga nai-impair ay pwede dyan ang, ano ba? Iba-iba eh. Pwede nai-impair din ng receivables. Yeah. Ano pa ba? Hindi ko maisip yung iba ngayon. Pero ito lang yung class, no? Eh, same lang ng konsepto itong depreciation, amortization, saka impairment, no? Magkakaiba lang sila ng pinagagamitan ng asset. Ayan, I hope that makes sense. Fair value, ayan. So, fair value naman, ayan. That's different from historical cost. Pag sinabi natin fair value, yan, nasan dyan yung term? Kakaiba yung term niya, no? Pero ang tinatandaan ko sa fair value, no, yung tinatawag na yung arm's length transaction. Pag sinabi nating arm's length transaction, so if you will think of it literally, no, arm's length, parang ganun. Or kung ganun, yung parang 'di ba kadalasan sa mga nangyayari sa ano ba? Ano si arm's length? Yeah, literally ganun. Magkaabot. Pero ibig sabihin, 'di ba? When you do that, parang yeah, there's a willing buyer and a willing seller that is who are accepting kung ano man yung agreed price na 'yon. Kung ano man yung price na 'yon. Saan na yung word diyan? Basta 'yon, ganun 'yon, class. Iba lang yung definition dito which is based from conceptual framework naman. Kasi this term fair value, this is widely used, Marami ang definition na nakalagay na malalagay. Basta sa madaling sabi, pag fair value, that is the market price. Diba, yan yung fair market value. What is the value of those item in the market? In the competitive market, mga ganun. That's fair value. Value in use, saka fulfillment value. Bigay ko na lang yung class sa inyo. Basahin nyo na lang yan. Hindi naman kilala yung mga yan. Okay, current cost, as I have discussed before, ginagamit itong mga to sa na to eh. Sa mga inflationary economy na to eh. Hindi yan basta-basta ginagamit. Sige. Okay. Entry values saka exit values, I don't think this is from conceptual framework, no. This is just an addition from the author. Whereas, sinasabi niya, yung entry values, it would compose of fair value, it compose of current cost and historical cost. Pag naman exit values, fair value, ganoon din, value in use, fulfillment value. Yan. So may reason naman diyan bakit sila tinawag na entry values at exit values. Ayan, so there are considerations when selecting a measurement basis. Ibig sabihin, kailan ba gagamitin yung mga measurement basis na discuss natin? Una, the nature of information provided by a particular measurement basis. And then, qualitative characteristics, constraint, and other factors. Sige, basahin nyo lang ito, class, ha? Measurement of equity. So, how is equity measured? The answer is, it's not directly measured, no? Kasi from the definition of equity, equity is merely a residual interest, no? After deducting liabilities from the assets. And directly, pwede mong ma-measure ang equity kasi kung titingin ka sa equity, di ba, there are several components ang equity. For example, sa sole proprietorship, ang equity, it composed of capital, withdrawals, ano pa ba? Yung, income summary, yung difference of income and expense. Yun. So, indirectly, ma-measure mo ang equity by measuring the components. Pero directly, ang madaling computation ng equity is just simply deducting total liabilities from total assets. Okay. Okay, presentation and disclosure. Basahin nyo na lang yan. Itong mga presentation and disclosure class, ito yung mga additional discussions ito, in particular, ang diretso nito is sa notes to financial statements. Kumbaga, how is those items presented in the face of financial statements, and how are the other information disclosed if they are not presented in the face of the financial statements? Pag sinabi natin in the face of the financial statements, kung ano mismo yung nakikita mo when you look at the FS. And then disclosure, ano yung additional information provided to those info that cannot be seen in the face of the FS. Ayan. Okay. Classification. Okay natin. Aggregation. Ano pa ba? Ayun. Sige, konti na lang ito. Aggregation, basahin ko lang. Adding together of assets, etc. that have shared characteristics and are included in the same classification. So guys, these are just definition of terms na lang ha. Yan. So last na to. Last discussion. Concepts of capital and capital maintenance. Please proceed with dito class sa page 88. Ayan. So dito class, actually itong topic na to, they're always included, no? Natatanong din to sa board exam, pero what you see is what you get. It is what it is. Wala na talaga siyang ibang discussion. So ano lang to? These are just concepts, no, on viewing the concept of capital. Kumbaga, how do we think of capital, no? Parang ganun lang siya. So it could be financial or physical. So when we say capital, when we say financial concept, no, capital is regarded as the invested money or invested purchasing power. Ayan, ang ikli, hindi kulang yan. Sige, class, pakibasa naman ako. Doon sa libro, page 88. Meron pa ba? Gusto magbasa? Wala na? Class? Ayan, thank you. Sino yung naunang nag-raise ng hand? Si Andrea na ba? Nagbasa na si Andrea kanina eh. Wala na ba iba? Yung hindi pa nagbabasa? Sige, sige Andrea, pakibasa. Thank you.
Sir, alin po dito?
Yung page 88.
Concepts of capital and capital maintenance.
Yes, yes.
The conceptual framework mentions two concepts of capital, namely financial concept of capital. Capital is regarded as the invested money or invested purchasing power. Capital is synonymous with equity, net assets, or net worth. Physical concept of capital. Capital is regarded as the entity's productive capacity, example units of output per day. The choice of an appropriate concept is based on users' needs. Thus, if users are primarily concerned with the maintenance of nominal invested capital or purchasing power of their invested capital, the financial concept should be used. Whereas, if their primary concern is the entity's operating capability, the physical concept should be used. Most entities adopt the financial concept of capital in preparing their financial statements. The concept chosen affects the determination of profit. In this regard, the concepts of capital give rise to the following concepts of capital maintenance.
Yeah,
Letter
okay na,
A.
Okay na, Andrea.
Sige po.
Thank you, thank you. So, yun class lang naman, ito lang talaga eh. Until now, wala akong nakikitang further discussion nito. Ito lang siya, no? Pero, just for your, information, yung the way we discuss accounting, yung nakakasanayan ninyo, that is financial concept of capital. Ano? Yung sa physical concept of capital, wala siyang masyadong, hindi ko alam kung may mga gumagamit nun. So dito, as mentioned, no, saan na yun? This is a matter of, parang point of view or kung ano yung perspective nila. So as mentioned dito, no, if you are looking, parang if you are viewing the capital as, ano to? Saan na yun? Ito, kung ang concern is the maintenance of the capital or the purchasing power, ang ginagamit is the financial concept of capital. But if, saan na yun? Ang concern naman ng entity is yung operating capability. So the physical concept should be used. So parang, di ba, parang hindi ko rin alam eh. Hindi ko exactly ma-articulate kung paano mo i-view yung capital in which ang ano mo is yung units of outputs per day. Kasi if I'm going to relate this no from any accounting concept that I know, no, pwede mo siyang i-associate dun sa, di ba, sa PPE. Whereas, there's a topic here sa PPE na yung sa pag-compute ng depreciation, yung sa units of outputs per day, na if you depreciate PPE, kasi yung depreciation of PPE, there are several methods on how to depreciate PPE. And one of those is yung unit of output method in which we think of it this way. Si PPE, especially yung mga machineries and equipments, no, 'di ba? Mas sila, mas marami yung output nila kapag bago sila. 'Di ba? And then through time, due to wear and tear, lumiliit na yung kanilang output kasi nga nade-depreciate na sila. Nagagamit, so hindi na siya ganun ka-efficient katulad nung bago pa siya. So yun lang yung naiisip ko dito. Pero then, the question is, why would I think of it that way when ba't ganun yung magiging point of view ko pagdating sa capital ko? So yung mga ganung thoughts. But so parang ang take away natin dito is, kapag sinabi nating financial concept of capital, the capital is regarded as the entity's productive capacity. Kapag naman financial concept, capital is regarded as the invested money or purchasing power. So, ganun lang class. So, may example pa siya dito sa page 19. No? You can check on this later. Pero wala siyang wala siyang example saan to? Sa physical. Mga ganun. So, yun lang. Yun yung dito sa, yun lang class, no? So, itong slide na to, you remember it that way, ganun lang yan. Okay, so having said that class, I believe that is the last slide na. So, yan. So, we have come to an end na on the discussion of conceptual framework for financial reporting. So, officially, meron bang questions? Meron bang clarifications regarding the topic? Regarding this chapter? Okay, pwede pa mag-on cam ang lahat. Naubos na kayo, kaunti na lang. 36. Ba't ganun? Layout. Hanggang 49 lang. Okay, sige class. Wala na bang questions?
Wala na po.
Okay, sige. Kung wala na, ano na lang class, no? Tomorrow, 5 p.m. para dun sa homework. And then by Thursday, quiz kayo. Chapters 1 and 2. Kung ano yung oras ng schedule natin. Paano ba? Sige, i-add ko na lang. Hindi na. I have an SA na, no? I-meet na lang na kayo. BSA 4, from BSA 4. Si, ang pangalan nun? Si Pau? Christine Fulinware, pangalan. Ayan, so kami nang bahala ni po mag-usap, no? So, for the quiz, no? Kindly prepare na lang for the, pambayad sa photocopy. So, makipag-coordinate na lang si Pau. So, may I request somebody na lang to collect, ha? Kung saan pwede mag-photocopy and then bigyan na lang kayo Pau para maano. Pero the quiz is is ready na. For photocopy, for reproduction na lang siya. Reproduction. Tama naman. I-reproduce na lang siya. Tapos, then take niyo yung quiz niya. Okay, sige. Kung wala na talaga, wag na nating patagalin. Na tayo. Photo opportunity na tayo. Okay, kindly face the camera. Smile. Okay na. Sige, class. Thank you for joining this meeting.
Thank you po, sir.
Thank you po.
Welcome.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Thank you po. Goodbye po. Thank you po.
Okay.
Thank
Sige,
you
you may leave
po.
the platform. Welcome.